A couple moments later, I hit it a couple times.
Okay, so question for both you guys, because this is something that I had growing up, and I don't know if you guys had access to it, but did you guys have like arcade cabinets and like the chance to go to like an arcade and go play with stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For me, it was where my brother currently lives, up north. We would go to like video rental places,
Okay.
and in those places there would be like mini arcades that you could just go play at.
Oh, so there was like a couple of places in the back where you like drop some quarters on and
Exactly.
like play away.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this came up. The idea of this came up because of the hilarious shirt that Mike got me for my birthday with Street Fighter 2, and like the old school playing Street Fighter on arcades and stuff like that.
Up, down, A, B, up, down.
Is the penny arcade dead?
Yeah.
Is it dead?
Arcades?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame.
Oh yeah, they're unfortunately well and dead.
And when did it happen? I think VR.
Well before VR. The home console killed.
Yeah, but you know what?
the
No,
arcade.
because
I think
VR
like
is bringing back arcades, I think. Because you go to like some of those indoor playgrounds, because I have kids, so I take them to the indoor playgrounds, and they have, you pay for an hour of VR while your kid goes next door and plays in the indoor playground.
Sure. So okay, like that's the new arcade, I guess is the easiest way to put it, right? Because like you go to these places, they have, your games where you can skeet ball, you can do other stuff like that. VR is just a new medium for the arcade.
I would definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So it's just come full circle. Where like the point of before, like we had arcades, we had cabinets, we had 18-bit generation or 16. I can't do math. Sorry.
Yeah, we can keep doing that math based on what generation we were on. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're not wrong.
Like you have your generation of gaming console that you played with and all that fun stuff, and like the arcade cabinet version was just better at doing it, but it also ate your allowance and it ate all of your like birthday money and everything like that. So it would kind of come down to what you wanted to play, what you could get far in, and all those other things. For me personally, I played a lot of X-Men. What did you guys play?
Pinball. Whatever pinball machine I could get my hands on.
So like a pinball machine, not a pinball arcade?
Yeah, or like is it pinball? That's the one where you the paddles, right? Like
Yeah.
Yeah. So like a pinball machine.
It could be like a Terminator one or
So you're a pinball wizard.
Not at all. I'm not good whatsoever at it, but I still enjoyed it and had fun with it.
That's good.
Do you remember? All right, you remember Pac-Man, the original cabinet game?
Yeah.
Miss Pac-Man.
My aunt gave me a toy she had, which was a micro cabinet. It was maybe about 11 inches, 10 inches tall. It had the full game of Pac-Man on it, and on the front of it had controllers, and you could actually play co-op on it.
Yep.
Because it had
one person on one side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was a mini cabinet, so you could like literally play co-op with like our hands bumping into each other on the controls using the same screen, and that was my first like solid portable video game experience. Like that was before Game Boy. I had that thing.
Some of us other
was colored.
people playing around in like Game Boys and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm playing with that thing.
But like the original Pac-Man was like on a table. Like you would play Pac-Man on a table, like
oh yeah,
the
face
table,
down.
yeah, like
it
would be
CRT was facing up.
Yeah. And like the first time I ever experienced Pac-Man like that, I was in this like really run down like billiards place like in my own town.
The old retro billiards table.
It was just like nasty. It was no good whatsoever. But like I loved gaming, and I tried Slaughterhouse, and I tried.
Wait a minute, was this the bar I think I know your hometown up north. Is this the one that's a bar and upstairs is a adult establishment?
No. It's not that one. This one is unfortunately gone. This one was taken over by housing just recently. This one, when I was growing up, is when I went into it and played these games on. I was actually never of legal age when this place was actually an open establishment. But yeah, very much like the nasty bars that are in my hometown. I ended up playing some of my first arcade cabinets in those areas, and weirdly enough, we actually had an arcade in my mall for quite a few years, and I got to play a lot of different games between like X-Men and other stuff. It was awesome for me.
Asteroids, Pac-Man. That's about it for me. For top down, like the cabinets. It was always in like
really
a weird
retro.
abstract fish and chips place.
The last time I've actually seen
It
an
would be tucked in
arcade
the corner of a
arcade-
fish and chips joint, man.
Oh god.
Top down, up in Tobermory.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Those machines, they're still there.
They're still there.
I would-
You
Yeah,
can
in those
go
joints
to those
right
places,
now.
and those machines are 100% still there.
See, the last time I actually saw an actual arcade where you walk in and there's tons of machines all lined up. Canada's Wonderland.
Okay.
Oh, yeah?
Like at the.
Did they like collect a bunch of them together to
I
be
don't
able
know,
to do
it's
that?
just an
Well, it's like an arcade
hall.
section, right?
Yeah, but I haven't really bumped into an arcade store or hall or whatever you want to call it.
Are you familiar with the Bramley City Center?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
It's
all right.
Bramley.
It's Brampton, but a small mall. For a brief time, had like a large like craft store go out of business, and for a brief time they turned it into an arcade, and
That's amazing.
I thought it was the coolest thing because the
But you
only
don't
other
stay
option
in
was
business. That's
the-
the thing.
Oh, that's the problem.
the Palladium. Remember that experiment?
Palladium, they still around,
Palladium's
aren't
so
they?
fun. Oh my god.
But it's
F1
re-
racing in Palladium?
It's yeah.
You've done
but-
it, right?
Yeah, the full scale.
So good.
Really?
It's so fun.
Now that you do VR though,
Okay, like when you compare it to
if
VR,
you had a chair that vibrated,
if you gave me a chair,
it'd be better.
If you gave me okay, so if we're talking perfect world, and we're talking like you give me a rig that has pedals, so I can accelerate, brake, and clutch, and you give me a steering wheel, and you give me a VR setup, and
All right, so
you
you
say
get-
go, yeah, it's gonna beat like any arcade.
All right, so
9
you
times out of
get
10.
you get Mecca's set up, you
Sure.
get Nate's set
Yeah,
up, and you add VR,
Yeah.
which he doesn't have yet,
yeah.
and it's not motion, which I don't think is necessary.
Okay.
I don't think you need like three-dimensional rumbling. I don't
No,
want
no,
like
no, no. Like you don't need to be in
hydraulics.
this hot like
No.
harness that's like
I just want to be in
Yeah,
a
yeah.
chair. I want a pedal, shifter, clutch, everything.
so like
Shifter paddles, whatever.
for what I have seen with racing in VR at this point with like casual driving games and stuff like that, it's amazing. Like the fact that I can do like a quick shoulder check and like make sure that I can get on my line and take the corner the way I want to.
All right.
Without
So here's what we'll do.
Completely blowing something away.
Upcoming
It's
episode.
amazing.
We're gonna put you in VR. I have Drive Club VR. We're gonna put you in VR. We're gonna record it, and we're gonna put that up for an episode because quick shoulder check. All right, if you say so. We'll put you in
Okay,
it.
but it's a difference with VR versus real life.
All right, but are we using controllers or are we using peripherals? Because I don't have peripherals.
Well, we're gonna have to use controller then.
All right.
So it's a quicker input. But if it was peripherals, it would be truer to form, and it would be a little bit more of what you would get with like actually driving in the real world.
You know what?
Most likely.
When VR was first coming out on the PS4 a couple Christmases ago, I remember in the mall not far from here where they had they had it all set up, and PlayStation went all out.
Yeah.
They had a rig that you sat in, and it had the wheels, the pedals, and everything. And I actually looked that rig up, and we're talking like the rig itself is like 10 grand. That's not even with the pedals or whatever attachments you want. That's just the...
Dude, that reminds me of that Asus setup
That
we
or
saw.
is it a Predator setup
sorry,
or whatever?
Sorry, don't mean to
I don't
distract
know.
you.
No,
Same deal,
It was
man.
a chair, and it was
Everything.
A rig.
It had the wraparound tray with the keyboard and you name it, like sound.
People would sit in this rig, throw on the headset, and then you could watch them on the screen. Obviously for advertisement, and PlayStation's, gurus were out there going, hey, like this is how we can sell our product. And it looked a lot of fun. And I sat in it, and like you guys are talking about VR, I really don't have that much experience with VR other than trying it a little bit here and there.
We're going to get you there. Don't you worry.
Honestly,
Future episodes.
I love the concept of VR. I love where it could go. I love the idea of the direction it could be heading into, with like multi-directional floors that you can walk on, or low friction floors, or rigs where you're suspended and you're actually crouching and running and fully immersing yourself into a world. I like the concept of it. Seems interesting, but yeah, I've never done anything like that, and I can't afford any of that whatsoever.
The Ponders.
The pondering.
Yeah, I don't think I have the square footage here in my bedroom to do more than that either.
Yeah.
So
It's all about fantasy at that point in time, but we can't really. Most of us could never afford that kind of.
No,
immersion.
like that's
what
what
I
you have.
find is when you put a VR mask on someone for the first time, I find if they're sitting on a couch, the first thing that everybody does is get up, turn around on the couch, and look towards the wall. And they're like, dude, there's stuff over here.
I can see it.
I could see things. And you're like, they're like an inch away from your couch wall. And like,
You're just waiting for them to
you're
look
like,
up
yeah,
their face
it's
on the
called
wall. Yeah.
like virtual reality. Like you can see it all around you, and they're like, yeah, but there's stuff, and then they bang their forehead off the wall.
I still
You're
remember
like,
the first
there's
time.
still physics, man. Like,
Yeah, the first time I ever tried VR, I almost punched Mike in the face. At least.
with a controller,
At least
yeah.
twice.
yeah,
While I was sitting there playing Super Hot.
that game especially deserves some attention to how much personal space you require.
Mike was sitting on a bouncy ball, just a little bit away from me, and I
Went for a
reached
punch,
for
hard left
fucking
punch.
something, and it was like an inch from his face. But the best part for me is I didn't know that, and he's just sitting there, and he's just looking at me, like dodging my like fucking left jabs every like 2 seconds just to make sure I don't punch him in the face accidentally.
My
fantastic.
eyeball was the flame, and you were the Bruce Lee that put it out. It was so fucking close to my face. Yeah, you almost knocked me out. But like, yeah, lesson learned. VR requires a little bit of space. Does anyone remember doing the Nintendo track thing? And you were
the
supposed to run on
red
it, but you
screen
realized
thing?
you could just like pound it with your hands.
The what? Nintendo. Track.
Because you lay out the trackpad for like Nintendo original NES,
Okay.
the trackpad,
Oh yeah.
and you could do like
For the
track and
Olympic-
field.
for the Olympics. And
Yeah, so you could run, but you could pound it with your hands
I
and go,
remember now.
and you could just run
Yep.
at crazy speeds. But like me and my friends didn't have the foresight to pad the surface we were playing on, so we woke up with like purple hands, and we were like, "Why is there?
Why do I hurt, Mom?
Why I
Why are my
can't-
hands hurting?
I can't even hold a spoon."
I completely forgot about that. What was your first system that you ever owned? For me, it was like a Nintendo Classic, like
Atari
Same,
Classic
yeah.
for me.
Well,
Atari.
sorry.
Yeah.
The one with the wood grain.
Yeah.
That
There
was
was
my
Nintendo
first.
there.
in the 80s.
There wasn't
or a Mac.
classic.
I don't know how you,
No, for me it was Nintendo.
because like what came out first? Like I had Atari and I had original Macintosh.
I'm not talking like
The
a
Atari
Atari,
came
yeah,
out
I think it's
first,
gaming
right?
platform.
Well, Atari would take the cake on that one because
Yeah.
like with a Mac you could play like
It was mostly
Commander
text.
Kane and stuff like that.
It was
but-
pretty basic games.
Yeah, it was like text-based
Nothing
adventures. Some of them were
Some of them were alright,
like Oregon Trail, like.
but it was all black
Alright,
and
how
white.
about
And
your
Atari
second
could have
system?
color.
Your second system.
That's the thing. My second system was an original NES.
Okay. How about you, Matt?
Super NES, because my first official system would be the NES.
So I played the NES for years when everybody else was getting Super Nintendo and
Did you
Nintendo
make the jump to
64
Sega?
and all that stuff. I did. That was my next system, was with Sonic Pinball, Back to the
Phil
Pinball.
is a Sega bitch.
You had a Sega.
Yeah, I did. And then from
Wait
Sega,
for it.
I jumped
Wait for
up to
it.
Sony.
Sega.
And what was your first game on Sony PlayStation, the original? Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
My original PlayStation first game I bought. Okay, here's how I bought my first PlayStation. I was working as one of those like college painter things.
Working on all the porn sets.
No. Just painting like subdivision
Oh
houses.
yeah, or that. Yep.
Or whatever, you know, as like a
joke,
summer job or whatever. And some lady's like, hey, do you want to like, will you paint my garage door as well? And I was like, hey, listen, my manager already left a while ago. Like, I'm here to paint your windowsills. That's about it. And she goes,
I'm not.
oh, but like
Take
if I
care of the
brought you,
drapes.
if you just paint my garage. And she pulled her tank top down a little. And I was like, all right, I'll paint your garage. So she's like, I'll give you 200 extra bucks to like paint my garage. And I was like, all right, fine. So I did the shittiest garage painting door job of my life. Took
Done
me
in 2
$200
hours, whatever.
and ran. And went to do you remember Cash Converters?
Yep.
There's like this like pawn shop thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought a PlayStation there, and I bought Siphon Filter,
Nice.
Spyro,
That was a good game.
and
Well, that was the answer to Sonic,
Sega
right?
GT. Sega GT 2000.
Sega GT, the original
2000.
driver.
The one with that little white Ford GT 2000, that terrible car, which like I worked through the whole game to buy, and turned out my 1967
fantastic.
Mustang modded out was way better.
Who made the Dreamcast?
Sega.
Was that Sega as well?
But I'm pretty sure you could actually copy games. You could burn it with a
Yeah,
CD burner.
you could. There was the Sega Dreamcast was one of the first consoles that you could copy games and pirate them essentially, and they had a really hard time with that. Where for a lot of stuff for like most of the cycle until they moved on to the next thing, if I'm not mistaken.
That's crazy. All right, gentlemen. We have a segment leading in here. This next segment is Phil's brother
All right.
uploaded a YouTube video
Okay.
where it made me laugh hard enough. I almost cried just watching this chaos happen, but we're going to watch it now and get your live reaction of this video playing.
I want to see this because I obviously always want to support my brother. So let's see what he's come up with.
Oh God! Breathe
Is he trying to boot that person in the face? That's awesome. Okay.
Here we go.
Is he
Old
loading
timey.
a plane on a truck? What?
He's trying to put it.
Is that plane having sex with a truck?
That is precisely what I asked Phil. Is this how
I love
cucks,
how he's made
cucks
it like
get
into
born?
like a
They're trying
an
a few
old-
times here.
black and white type like era film.
Yeah, there's a few moments here where they do the little mating dance. We'll just move forward here. So you can see it.
Oh, they're connected now.
Yeah.
They've docked into one another.
Oh, and if you're not careful, you will. It's a violent procedure.
Clearly, the wheels are stuck in the air. Somewhere just at random. Yeah, and
They're just appearing
the plane
somewhere.
is being mounted, or no, correction. The plane is mounting the truck and shaking around and vibrating. It's is this how truck planes are bred?
Cucks. Pucks. So we make pucks. Plucks.
I like how you can see the armaments under the wings.
Yeah,
of
the
that.
bizarre thing is the fact that this goes on forever. The truck dies,
This is
but
a 9-minute video of this?
the truck dies. Plane lives.
The plane lives in a tree now. It's mounting a tree. This is
Yeah, if we
one
fast forward to
aggressive
the end,
sexual
it eventually
plane.
makes its way to a.
It clearly doesn't understand the concept of consent. It's just fucking everything. The floor, the ground, the electrical post, the tree.
Yeah, I believe it does a sacred dance.
Is this a mating dance? There it is. Caw-caw! It's now spinning in a circle.
Yeah.
Like a circus act.
What the fuck?
That's what I said. Or thought.